Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Job Age. Last time we went through the tutorial and got to meet our main character here, Vaan. And now we're just gonna continue on with the story. Pinello mentioned heading over to Miguelo's place, down there in the bottom right corner. So let's just head on right over. Let's see. Not too sure what to talk about. Well, I don't need to talk. Miguelo and Vaan are gonna do that for me.
Vaan, I was waiting.
Pinello said you needed something?
Had me some packages supposed to be arriving by courier. In the morning, perhaps he ran into some trouble out in the desert. Now I've no foodstuffs to prepare for the banquet tonight.
So you want me to find this courier? Hey, no problem.
No problem. The desert teem's with trouble. I'd be sending you to an early grave, my boy. No, I've arranged for some replacement goods from Tomage over at the Sand Sea.
So you want me to go to the tavern to pick him up?
Actually, I asked Kites to do that. Wouldn't you know he's gone missing on me, too. I can't leave my shop, and I've Pinello on another chore at the moment, you see. What I want you to do is run over to the Sand Sea and fetch Kites back. What do you say?
Sounds wild.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
Yeah, Vaan always just dreams of bigger things. They do have a lot of more of a Shakespearean-esque dialect in the voice work for this game, in addition to what they write. It kind of works though, since a lot of the voice actors they got for this too are all pretty much classically trained actors. Makes it kind of hard to follow the dialogue sometimes though, at least it was for me.
There you are, Kites. Stop loafing around.
Look, Vaan, look! This is it! This is why Miguelo's courier didn't get here on time.
Creature spotted in the Ester Sand. What is that thing?
Ah, Vaan! Miguelo sent you too, did he? He's a busy man these days, that Miguelo, if I dare say so myself. I don't envy him the work, though. Not a bit. Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, eh?
Welcoming? We should be... whatever. Say, Tomage, what's this?
Nah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the Ester Sand. What's stopping our couriers? And that means shortages all around. Thought I'd put up a bill, offer a reward to anyone who can knock that nasty back in its place.
Now that's work. Sounds 10 times better than running errands for Miguelo.
That's right! Vaan, you should give it a shot!
And you should be getting back to Miguelo. Now, Kites. He was waiting for you.
Oh, right.
So now here we're going to get the tutorial on accepting hunts, as well as yeah, I better hit just yeah, because he'll probably just not give it to me if I don't. You know what, I'm just gonna skip through that. It's all about just accepting the hunt, and then he tells you to go and talk to the person, and yada yada yada. And then this was initially the tutorial for how to get to the license board, but because this is the Zodiac Job Age, it's actually going to act as closer to a tutorial for the job system in general. Initially, he would teach you how to unlock the first license for accessories, so you could equip that thing he just gave us. But since we're in the Zodiac Job Edition and we'd have to pick a job in order to do that, he doesn't force that on us right away. It's so the player can get a chance to decide how they want when and how they want to upgrade their characters into what jobs. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble talking. Anyway, I do have all the jobs I want for each character picked out, and like I said last time, as much as I would love to do a more community-based selection for that, I don't quite have the instilled community for that yet. Like, without the guarantee that anyone will comment, I should probably just focus on doing things a certain way. Anyway, we need to leave by the east gate, which is here.
You there, let's see some papers, boy. No public passage on account of the Lord Consul's parade.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. You see, it just so happens that your provisioner for the fete tonight, he sent me to pick up a few choice morsels for the, Consul's dining pleasure. He wants them quick. I got the writ of transit right here. You see? Signed, Magello. I just hate to see the Consul upset because his food wasn't ready on time. And I sure hate to see him take it out on you.
The Lord Consul is a great man, and not one to take offence in such trifling matters. Move along, boy. Wouldn't do to keep the Consul waiting. Right. Gates are closed after this.
But I wanted to wait till I got to my first save point before I put Vaan into his first job. I will be using 2, and it is my intention to use all 12 of the jobs, 2 for each character. I'll be trying to put them into put the characters into, like I said, jobs that fit their background on a more thematic scale, rather than just which job are they good at. Hopefully I get a little bit of both, but probably not for everyone, because, you know, I mentioned I'm mostly doing this as an excuse to give a character a hilarious one. But since we got that save in place, let's go ahead and look at the various jobs. So when you go select licenses, it brings this up right away, and it gives you this warning that there are 12 boards, each allowing you to develop a character, and then once you choose a board, you cannot change it. There's no job switching, so you gotta make sure you know what you want to do. I'll give you a brief overview of each job, and then I'll go over the ones I think best suit Vaan, although, spoiler alert, it's all of them. Alright, so first we have White Mage. It's your basic healer. It gets access to all the white magic and a very high magic and MP stat. Very useful job, one I often use. I'd highly recommend picking it. Let's see, next we have the Ulan. Now, Ulan is actually like Dragoon in other Final Fantasy titles. They use spears, but it got renamed partly because there's no jump skill in this game. Well, actually, that's the main reason. Without the jump skill, it's not really a Dragoon. And they decided to use the name Ulan because they wanted to encourage people to look things up and learn a bit. Ulan's a really good, solid attacker, but late game it tends to fall off because it doesn't really have any weapons that give it a unique edge compared to other jobs. The Machinist is one of the weaker jobs in the game, probably the weakest. Machinist uses guns, mainly. Oh, I could preview their license boards. Why didn't I do that? You know, I didn't do it for the first 2. I'm going to have to commit and not do it for the rest. Anyway, Machinist gets mostly guns, and guns are unique in that they don't factor in any stats for their attacks. Like, it ignores the character's strength, it ignores the enemy's defense, it never misses, can't be blocked or parried. But that also makes it a very weak weapon because a lot of the characters have good stats for attacking in some way or another. Beyond that, it's mostly a support job. It gets a little bit of time magic to support the party, and also a weapon called Measures, which when they hit someone, they'll apply a buff. Let's see, after that we have the Red Battle Mage. The Red Battle Mage gets access to a little bit of, a lot of it of each type of magic, as well as one unique magic all on its own, the Arcane Magic. Let's see. Red Battle Mage can fill a variety of roles, but like Red Mages in other titles, like Bravely Default, it's also more of a jack of all stats. So So it also tends to have a few shortcomings when compared to other jobs. It's going to be slower than a white mage or a black mage. I think it gets its magic-related buffs later in the game too, so it's going to be a bit weaker early game, and then balance out about the middle, and then it'll top off at the end game. The access to arcane magic, though, keeps it from being completely irrelevant, and the way the game handles stats means that the red battle mage isn't going to be any weaker in magic overall than a more dedicated white mage or black mage. They'll just have a different spell list, one that isn't quite so dedicated, which isn't always a bad thing, but it can make them a little weak as healers late game if you wanted to use a red battle mage as one. I intend to, because I like to pair the characters off and have them switch based on which role they're filling. And the red battle mage is the only job besides white mage that can really heal very well throughout the whole game. Anyway, moving on. We have the knight. The knight, like machinist, is another pretty weak job. They get swords and shields and heavy armor and a little bit of white magic, but it's ultimately just doesn't really have anything to set it apart from other jobs. It's not going to hit as hard. It's supposed to kind of function as a tank, but it needs a lot of party support to do that. And yeah, overall, it just doesn't have anything quite specific just to it. Other jobs can tank pretty well too, and do more than the knight. Let's see, monk. Monk is a very interesting job. It gets access to poles. They mention unarmed, but I think almost everyone gets the skill for unarmed damage. Or maybe not. I don't remember too well. But either way, monk is unique, pretty interesting in that, just like the knight, it also gets access to late game white magic. However, unlike the knight, it's also a lot more useful because it's a lot faster, gets a lot more HP, and its weapon of choice, the pole, hits a lot harder. The time battle mage. Time battle mages are quite weird. Like, it's... At first glance, it would seem like it's a very dedicated mage job. It gets all the time magic, and then it also learns green magic, which, the other three dedicated mages get: white mage, red battle mage, and black mage. But, however, unlike those three mages, time battle mage actually equips heavy armor, and it also learns how to use crossbows instead of any sort of magic-related weapon. So it's a very unusual class, and one I kind of actually like overall. Like, crossbows are a pretty weak weapon because they miss a lot. But yeah, pretty interesting all the same. Foe Breaker. I don't think this one really has a an equivalent in other job-based Eastern RPGs. Foe Breaker has the weirdest weapons in the game. They use hammers, axes, and hand bombs, which have a high variance in their damage. In Dungeons and Dragons terms, they basically have very widely varying damage based on whether you roll high or roll low. So they can either deal very little damage, like in the single digits, 1 or 2, or they'll be dealing the most damage in the whatever your current cap is. Foe Breakers specialize in learning skills that weaken your enemies, lowering their attack and defense and all that stuff. It's a very good job. I'd highly recommend it. The Archer. Archers obviously get bows, but more importantly than that, the Archer is actually closer to a chemist or other similar item-based jobs. It's going to get the most item-related buffs, and it's just going to be very good at using those items. Bows themselves are pretty decent weapons, but like crossbows, they tend to miss a bit more often. Like if there's a certain weather condition in an area you're in, that's going to negatively affect the archer's accuracy. They also learn a wide variety of techniques, or techniques. I think they're called techniques, but either way, yeah, they learn a wide variety of those too, so it can be a versatile job. The Black Mage. Black Mage obviously learns offensive magic. They get they get access to the weapons called rods. Or, no, they get access to staves. White mages get rods. They get access to the staves, which boosts their magic power, so they can hit pretty hard, but, you know, the downside is they have to cast the spell each time, so they burn through their MP very quickly. Let's see. Then we have the Bushi. This one is probably the most mechanically unusual at first glance. They're frontline fighters, but their offensive prowess is determined by their magic stat. So they wear mystic armor, same as white mages and black mages. And, yeah, the katanas they use level off their magic stat, and they're frontline fighters who focus on lots of combos. It's a very, very good class. I'd also highly recommend that one, too. And last but not least is the Shikari. This is another job that got a weird name, but its closest, I guess its closest sister job in other titles would be something like a thief or a hunter. Mainly focuses on speed. It learns how to steal and stuff, and they mainly get daggers and later ninja swords. It's a high combo job, and yeah, it's going to be Vaan's first job. Vaan mentioned he wanted to be a sky pirate, and this is the closest to sky pirating I can think of. Well, maybe machinist, but I have other plans for machinist. So Vaan is going to be a Shikari. Yeah, but I do recommend having a save file right before you pick Vaan's job here. So that way, if you want to just jump right back into the game on a new file and try out some new combinations, then you can just pick up right here instead of having to go through that whole tutorial again. Like, you can skip cutscenes, but it's just quicker to do this. Plus, I think the Shikari is like Vaan's intended job from the get-go, because he starts equipped with daggers, and yeah. For Vaan, though, if you're looking to optimize him, well, the Shikari actually isn't such a bad thing to do. Vaan is pretty much the best character in the game. He gets very balanced stats, and they're all high. Especially, they're all high compared to the other party. The rest of the party, he's either the best or the second best at almost everything, or at least he was in the original PlayStation 2 release. I think he got nerfed a bit, so now he's a bit third best in a few areas. Still, he's highly functional in any area. So if you're not sure about what job to pick for him, a good fit is always the Shikari, but he can also function well as an Ulan. I wouldn't quite recommend Knight for him. He's got a high speed stat, and since the Knight doesn't get all of the speed buffs that are available, it would slow him down a lot, which wouldn't be all that great for such a speedy guy. Another interesting choice for Vaan would be White Mage. He's definitely not the most qualified for it in the party, or the best for it. But at the same time, Vaan also has perfect availability. You're going to have him from start to finish in this game, and having your White Mage be the first party member you have can be a very good thing. And when I say a character is bad at the job, that's really only a relative term. Like, he's bad at White Mage because other characters are better at it than him. In a vacuum, he's just fine as a White Mage. Any character can really handle any job, so you don't have to use characters in their best jobs if you don't want to. You'll get through the game just fine. It's more for if you're pursuing optional challenges like trial mode. Min-maxing in that case is probably best, because they're not going to hold any punches. But even then, I think it's perfectly doable to get through trial mode and focus more on having good job synergy than actually min-maxing everyone. But when in doubt, just go for what each character is going to be best at. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw a potion here. Now, I love the way they handled items here in Final Fantasy XII. The items never fall out of use. They're always going to be useful to you, because items unlike spells or abilities, are used instantaneously. Like you see, even Vaan even has to charge up his regular attacks. You never have to do that with an item, so if you're ever in a tight spot, open up that menu, pull out an item, and you're good to go. Now, each enemy that you defeat, it rewards you with 2 types of experience. The usual experience points, but it's also going to give you license points, which is used to progress through your license board. I really should have showed off the previews for those. I kind of regret that now. Maybe I should redo it. You know what? No, it's fine. We're already this far. Commit. We're going to commit.
Never thought I'd see him growing out here. This'll make a nice souvenir. Time to call it a day.
Yeah, that was just a small scene. I didn't want to interrupt Vaughn's moment. But I guess it didn't really matter too much, because the showing the preview for the boards wouldn't have been all that useful, since there are certain parts of them that aren't available yet. Oh, sorry, I don't see that. Yeah, this wild saurian here, he is an enemy that you generally want to avoid. Like, until we get the ability that lets us see enemy stats, you basically just get all these question marks, and then the name will be displayed in either blue, yellow, or red. If it's blue, that means the enemy is well below your level and you can easily handle it. Yellow means it's at about the same level as you, and you might have some trouble, but overall you can do it. Red means the enemy is above your level and will kill you. Just kill you dead. And that Saurian there, he's basically in this area to teach you about that. It's highly recommended that you avoid him at this point in the game. I mean, you can try and attack him if you're feeling gutsy, but he'll probably take you out in one hit. If we had to put levels to the... let's see, if we compare levels, I think before he starts cannibalizing any of the wolves near him, which is a weird name for a skill where none of the other enemies are other Saurians. Anyway, the cannibalize skill is an enemy exclusive, and it has them eat another enemy to gain experience and level up. Makes them a lot tougher. I think... I don't know what that was. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and find a few more treasures. I'm pretty sure there are a few scattered about. And then we'll head back to Ravenaster, save, and call that an episode. Not yet, though. We're going to keep going. Let's see. Yeah, I was talking about the job system. You don't have to perfectly optimize everyone to get through the game. So I say just go ahead and have fun with it. Now, I did say you get to have 2 jobs, and you do, but you don't get to pick the second job for a while. So I'll go over what to put with each job, or what combos can work really well. Job combinations can work really well later, so that way you can know what to. So that way you can get a vague idea of what to do on your own. I'm not going to try and say you have to do this to get a good. Make the most out of each job. Because I don't really feel like you should be limiting yourself in any way. Alright. Let's go ahead and kill this wolf here. Now, eventually the combat actually speeds up a bit. For now, it's going to be very slow because you have to open up the menu each time to attack. But later, as we get more in-depth to it, a lot of the combat will be about only opening the menu as you need to, so you can breeze through areas quickly. Very, very handy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and head over to the save crystal here. Now, if you don't want to save, you can just touch the crystal and it will fully heal you. But for now, I'm going to call that an episode. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked what you saw. And I'll see you guys later. Space Oyster, signing out.